listening? Damn. Yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Seth, and this is After Topic. I'm back here again with Jordan. What's going on, man?
What's up? Been a while.
It has been. School's over. We have a lot planned this summer. We've already been talking about a lot of plans, a lot more uploads. You'll see that when that comes out. But right now, we have to talk about some of the aftermath that just happened with Pod roster, which I'm sure everyone's heard about. All the drama that's been going down with them, especially Vision. Some of the esports haven't been too hot, so it's going to be a little COD-centric this video, but we'll touch on some of the other ones. So first thing is first, as you all are aware, Formal's gone, which wasn't a secret. Harmon is gone. He is retiring. Air quotes. We don't know. And then we brought on Octane again, which people were able to find out, and then Methods. So one thing I want to talk about is Methods. A lot of people are giving him some flack. Pretty much,
It's kind of justified.
I think so. So if you were stuck around the COD scene from probably, I feel like a lot of people started in Black Ops 2. If you started in Black Ops 2 before then, Methods didn't really do much. There was a period of time where he stopped. He didn't go to one event. I think it was X Games for Prom.
Yeah.
Then they kind of just took a break, and then he came back. I never really did anything well. I think his best game may have been Black Ops 2 since this game. But he came back and
He was alright in AW too, but with the age restrictions and everything.
Yeah, that was the difficult part. And he just hasn't done much, but he's been going off this season. OpTic wouldn't pick up someone if they were trash. Obviously, people were expecting them to get Zuma or like a really good sub.
Or John.
Or John, that was another one. I feel like John,
If a great addition.
if it was like last year, I think if this was a year ago, people may still giving John some crap. Although he won champs, I feel John was in a very similar situation before he was on ND in Black Ops 3, because before then, people didn't give him credit until he was playing with some bigger teams. But a lot of teams did give him gave him a chance. But a lot of people would always underestimate him until he started winning. So once Methods is on this team, I feel like this is going to be a very strong team. If they start winning, that's going to be the same thing. People are going to look at Methods and be like, "Oh, Methods is so good. I never doubt him for a second." Blah 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 blah. And then no one's going to say I doubted Methods. It's going to be one of those scenarios.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm not really sure what to expect. I mean, we've heard what they've done in scrims, but I mean,
they're doing really well in scrims.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to know as of right now what this team is going to be capable of and what this team will do. But I mean, what I personally think they have like a really good foundation. I mean, obviously, Crimsix I think was probably the only firm foundation on that team. I mean, we should probably talk a bit about what exactly happened to the old team. So we had. Obviously, the old team was Karma, Scump, Crimsix, and Formal. And it seems like, from what they've been saying, that Scump and Formal clashed a lot, and a lot of it had to do with, like, egos. And I think that's something that really sucks, because they had a really great relationship, but to hear that it's been, like, pretty much destroyed because they both have massive egos is kind of pathetic in a way, you know? I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, so if you look at the old Cole EG roster, it was kind of like the same thing when they broke up. I was saying the same thing. Why would you break up? You're winning. But then they did have some hurdles, but it was at the point where they it came to a point where they had a clash, and I think not winning really had an impact. I wonder if I was saying this, if in what was it? Was it Seattle the one where they placed second, or was that the one after that where they placed poorly?
Stage 2 playoffs. I mean, Stage 1 playoffs. Sorry.
Yeah, well, when they placed second, if they didn't choke that, which is probably two of the worst map chokes we've seen from OpTic since the Octane Dom and the Full Sail S&D, I think the team might still be together because they got over that winning. But even then, I still think there'd be a lot of conflict.
They would like to go to Seattle and like
if they place
perform decently there.
if they won that event and then still lost, do you think they'd make a roster change still?
If they won that event and they got smoked like they did at this event at Seattle, like they got smoked there, I think they still would have broken up.
Still, I was talking to some people on Reddit and they were saying no, I think they stay together. I think they still make a roster change because I mean, I don't know. And
not happy. They just weren't happy, you know.
they also weren't playing. Like they're doing well in scrims, but the thing is, they're scrimming at least. One of the biggest problems is that they weren't scrimming. They weren't getting on to play. And I think now, not only is OpTic going to do well, but I think LG. I think LG is probably pretty even with where they are with Formal on there now.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I heard some stuff about them though. I heard that like when they first scrimmed, it was so weird for OpTic. I mean, for LG, because they were saying that Formal was playing really weirdly, and they were like, has this guy even played COD before? Because he has such, one, a different playstyle, and two, OpTic relied so much on like raw talent and skill that they started to like, I guess over the years, they were losing the basics and they weren't doing like the simple stuff, you know? And that just goes to show how much talent they had on their team, you know? And so it was interesting to hear from Slack that he said that, and it was interesting to hear. And so I think in the long term, Formal will like improve and learn.
when was he talking about this?
Right now.
Was it back on like Ghost?
Podcast with Nameless on Nameless's podcast.
Yeah, but he said like, oh, has Formal even played COD? Was this like happened back in Ghost when he was talking about this?
No, he was saying about the scrims. He was.
I thought you meant.
It seemed like he'd never like done it before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's part of the reason because they weren't playing. Like a lot of the pros were saying, like if OpTic just played, they wouldn't be placing like that.
Yeah.
And now OpTic, I think just because they're playing, even if this is a downgrade, we'll see better results.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing is that this might be good for COD. I mean, the only thing is, when I thought that if Karma and Formal go to different teams, it's two really good players that can enhance other teams. But one of the biggest problems with OpTic that might not cause that is Karma is a content creator now. He is quote unquote retired. He might come back. So that's one.
Back out for.
That's one veteran that is not going to be playing on another good team. And so that's taken someone, and that now they're losing a player in the field. And
3-time world champ.
yeah, and I feel like if like if Scump were to be the one that was dropped off the team instead of if it was like Formal and Krim or something, I think Scump would just retire. I don't think he would go to another team. It's better for him in his career to stay on OpTic. And so I think that's one thing. If someone's on OpTic for a long time,
Leaving.
What?
I think Scump would still end up leaving.
You think? Dude, he left.
Big of an ego.
Dude, he left before and then came back because he's like, oh shit, this probably isn't good for me to leave OpTic.
Yeah, but he ended back on the OpTic competitive roster, so that's not the same situation. I think Scump has too big of an ego, and he would have been like, yeah, I want to keep playing, and I'll prove you guys wrong that you don't want me on the roster. And his individual brand is big enough, he doesn't need OpTic.
Scump in Hex's last vlog made a remark. I'm not sure if it was a joke or not, but he said, "Come Black Ops 4, I might be retired." Now that could be total bait, but like if he's thinking about it, I mean, with COD and how people are saying it's dying, if I'm in their position, if I can become a streamer under OpTic, or if I can play and maybe lose all the time, I think I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
I won't if I can't keep that OpTic name.
Wouldn't think that he's going to lose all the time if he's getting dropped from OpTic. That's what happens when you have that big of an ego.
Yeah, but there's also no guarantee. There's no guarantee that you're going to win, and I think Scump knows that, especially after the last couple months.
He's also just a competitor, so I don't know. I don't think he would, but that's just my personal opinion. But
I don't know, that's where I disagree.
Yeah, as far as like them breaking up, that really was rough. That kind of sucked. But during Vision, they had a good interview, and it was interesting to kind of see all their viewpoints. Carmen apparently hated the game. Scump and Formal hated each other. And then Scump's internet sucked. So it's kind of like Crim6 was the only one who didn't have massive issues, and it seems like they all just acted kind of like children, you know? And
oh, 100%.
For so long that can be rough. But I mean, this is your job and you're a professional. you should be able to take it more seriously. You should show up on time. You should be putting the effort in. If you're not doing it for your teammates, do it for yourself, you know? And
Yeah.
so,
The scenario.
yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm not really sure what to expect. I mean, we've heard what they've done in scrims, but I mean,
They've been doing really well in scrims.
yeah, so I mean, it's hard to know as of right now what this team is going to be capable of and what this team will do, but I mean, what I personally think they have like a really good foundation. I mean, obviously Crimsix, I think, was probably the only firm foundation on that team. I mean, we should probably talk a bit about what exactly happened to the old team. So we had obviously the old team was Karma, Scump, Crimsix, and Formal. And it seems like from what they've been saying that Scump and Formal clashed a lot, and a lot of it had to do with like egos. And I think that's something that really sucks because they had a really great relationship, but originally, but to hear that it's been like pretty much destroyed because they both have massive egos is kind of pathetic in a way, you know? I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, so if you look at the old Cole EG roster, it was kind of like the same thing when they broke up. I was saying the same thing. Why would you break up? You're winning. But then they did have some hurdles, but it was at the point where they it came to a point where they had a clash, and I think not winning really had an impact. I wonder if I was saying this, if in what was it? Was it Seattle, the one where they placed second, or was that the one after that where they placed poorly?
Stage 2 playoffs. I mean stage 1 playoffs, sorry.
Yeah, well, when they played second, if they didn't choke that, which is probably two of the worst map chokes we've seen from OpTic since the Octane Dom and the Full Sail S&D, I think the team might still be together because they got over that winning. But even then, I still think there'd be a lot of conflict.
I still think they would like to go to Seattle and like
if they placed
perform decently there.
If they won that event and then still lost, do you think they'd make a roster change still?
If they won that event and they got smoked like they did at this event at Seattle, like they got smoked there, I think they still would have broken up.
Still? Yeah. I was talking to some people on Reddit and they were saying, no, I think they stay together. I think they still make a roster change because, I mean, I don't know. And
they're not happy. They just weren't happy, you know?
They also weren't playing. Like, they're doing well in scrims, but the thing is, they're scrimming at least. One of the biggest problems is they weren't scrimming. They weren't getting on to play. And I think now, not only is OpTic going to do well, but I think LG, I think LG is probably pretty even with where they are, with Formal on there now.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I heard some stuff about them, though. I heard that, like, when they first scrimmed, it was so weird for OpTic. I mean, for LG, because the whole team was pretty much sorry, I lost my train of thought. They were saying that Formal was playing really weirdly, and they were like, has this guy even played COD before? Because he had such, one, a different playstyle, and two, OpTic relied so much on like raw talent and skill that they started to, like, I guess over the years they were losing the basics and they weren't doing like the simple stuff, you know? And that just goes to show how much talent they had on their team, you know? And so it was interesting to hear from Slack that he said that, and it was interesting to hear. And so I think in the long term, Formal will like improve and learn.
When was he talking about this? Right, was it back on like Ghost?
On the podcast with Nameless, on Nameless's podcast.
Yeah, but he said like, oh, has Formal even played COD? Was this like happening back in Ghost when he was talking about this?
No, he was saying about the scrims. He was.
I thought you meant.
It seemed like he'd never like done it before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's part of the reason because they weren't playing. Like a lot of the pros were saying, like if OpTic just played, they wouldn't be placing like that.
Yeah.
And now OpTic, I think just because they're playing, even if this is a downgrade, we'll see better results.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing is that this might be good for COD. I mean, the only thing is, when I thought that if Karma and Formal go to different teams, it's two really good players that can enhance other teams. But one of the biggest problems with OpTic that might not cause that is Karma is a content creator now. He is quote unquote retired. He might come back. So that's one. That's one veteran that is not going to be playing on another good team. And so that's taken someone, and that now they're losing a player in the field. And
3-time world champ.
Yeah, and I feel like if like if Scump were to be the one that was dropped off the team instead of if it was like Formal and Krim or something, I think Scump would just retire. I don't think he would go to another team. It's better for him in his career to stay on OpTic. And so I think that's one thing. If someone's on OpTic for a long time,
I'm leaving.
what
I think Scump would still end up leaving.
you think? Dude, he left.
Big of an ego.
Dude, he left before and then came back because he's like, oh shit, this probably isn't good for me to leave OpTic.
Yeah, but he ended back on the OpTic competitive roster, so that's not the same situation. I think Scump has too big of an ego, and he would have been like, "Yeah, I want to keep playing, and I'll prove you guys wrong that you don't want me on the roster." And his individual brand is big enough; he doesn't need OpTic.
Scump in Hex's last vlog made a remark. I'm not sure if it was a joke or not, but he said, "Come Black Ops 4, I might be retired." Now that could be total bait, but like if he's thinking about it, I mean, with COD and how people are saying it's dying, if I'm in their position, if I can become a streamer under OpTic, or if I can play and maybe lose all the time, I think I'm going to retire.
Yeah,
I won't if I can't keep that OpTic
but he
name.
wouldn't think that he's gonna lose all the time if he's getting dropped from OpTic. That's what happens when you have that big of an ego.
Yeah, but there's also no guarantee. There's no guarantee that you're going to win, and I think Scump knows that, especially after the last couple months.
He's also just a competitor, so I don't know. I don't think he would, but that's just my personal opinion. But on
I know that's where I disagree.
Yeah, as far as like them breaking up, that really was rough. That kind of sucked. But during Vision, they had a good interview, and it was interesting to kind of see all their viewpoints. Comment apparently hated the game. Scump and Formal hated each other. And then Scump's internet sucked. So it's kind of like Crimsix was the only one who didn't have massive issues, and it seems like they all just acted kind of like children, you know? And
Oh, 100%.
For so long that can be rough. But I mean, this is your job and you're a professional. You should be able to take it more seriously. You should show up on time. You should be putting the effort in. If you're not doing it for your teammates, do it for yourself, you know? And
yeah.
Yourself into the organization. So I don't know.
On that. So what I was thinking is that, like, have you ever been in a fight, or you know someone that's been in a fight with someone, and they make up excuses of like, oh, well, you did this. Well, I did this because of this. That's a bullshit excuse. That's what they're all doing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I couldn't get on for this reason. Oh, I can't get on for this reason.
Yeah.
That was the biggest problem that they always said is, we're not playing. There's always some excuse. That's what it was for everyone. Scump, Formal. Apparently, Krim was the only one that wasn't. But I mean,
expect that. I feel like he's a solid leader, and like some people may see him as an a-hole often, but at the end of the day, he's like a strong competitor and a good leader. Like he will rub people the wrong way because he will speak his mind all the time, but he's a solid leader, and that's why he's won so many championships, because he's a winner. At like his heart, he's a winner who will do anything he can to win.
And why isn't he the captain then?
I mean, it's.
I know captain doesn't really matter.
Pretty much the captain. Of
exactly.
But
yeah, but like it was just childish reasons, which sucks because this is like the strongest COD roster that like has been there, and I mean like there are just some things like you have Scump, one of the best subs. You have Damon, who has historically been like one of the best ARs and subs in different titles. You have Krim. I'm just naming the roster right now, but you know what I mean. Like you have all these players, and then just let that all go on someone. Like my biggest fear with Methods is that come the next title, he might come into that mediocre spot, because we can see everyone else on this team has been able to make that transition.
Long-term consistency, yeah.
From title to title.
That's my biggest issue. It's interesting because I always thought when OpTic make a change, I was like, they will literally be able to get whoever they want. I was like, they'll have the cream of the crop. They'll be able to get whoever they want.
They used to be, yeah.
Octane, and I'm like, yes, that's good. And then they get Methods, and I'm like, they're getting down by Zuma, John. They didn't even mention Kenny, but who knows if Kenny.
Well, I mean, they probably would have been. It's the orgs that are saying no. I mean, exactly. If you're any team, you could be on the best team, and
said he would have gone. And then John turned them down because of karma, but yeah.
Do they not get along, John and Karma?
Well, no, John and Karma got along. That's why John supposedly, this is what we've heard. Uh, John went to Karma because they're good friends to ask if he should go team with them, and what it was like teaming with them, and if he would suggest it. And apparently, Karma said probably that something along the lines of that Scump was difficult to work with, or his ego got in the way often, or something like that. And so then John decided against it. That is
Wow.
the rumor. And some people are saying that's kind of childish, but honestly, I think John
Being upfront.
went to Karma for
Yeah.
his honest opinion, and Karma gave it to him. He gave him what he personally thought. There was probably no. I very highly doubt that he was like, I don't want to watch them win, so I'm going to tell him all these lies. He probably
Yeah, he's not going to lie. I mean,
exactly.
he's just not lying. He's being upfront and honest, which is something that people will also be like, oh, why wouldn't you tell the truth? Why would you lie?
Yeah. Exactly.
And then methods. I have a question. I remember the what was it, like the blackout or whatever, like the blacklist.
Oh yeah.
I never knew that Methods started that. Methods apparently started that.
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't know that he started that.
I didn't know I know like a bunch of the people that were involved. I didn't know he started that till these people, because like
Yeah, that was a big thing. He betrayed a lot of people's trust with that. It may have not been as serious as many people took it, but he definitely lost a lot of friends through that, and he learned to be a lot more careful. But that's to me, people have still brought that up, but I'm like, that's so far in the past that like he was like 15 or something.
yeah, people change so much, especially when in your teens you're a completely different person in like 5 years, and that was Ghost. And like in such a small community, I mean, like that stuff is going to happen. How many times you fight with like a sibling or a best friend, and then you get over it? I know it's like a dick thing to do, but you know, it's not like you may have started it, but I mean, like everyone did it. Well, not everyone, but like there were a large part of the community that were part of that. And when it comes to OpTic, obviously Methods is going to take that option. I mean, anyone that is offered is going to take it, unless it's a shitty team, and even then they might consider it just for the brand.
Yeah.
So coming to they're going into the next stage or whatever. Yeah. What are your expectations for them?
Honestly, let me bring up the group real quick. Yeah, I'm hopeful, honestly, for this roster. I'll probably be disappointed if we're not top 2 in the group. I think we're a new group, but I honestly think that we're good enough to be top 2 in our pool.
Can you link that to me real quick?
Yeah, I will in just a second, but I just gotta find it. But I don't know how you feel.
Okay, so my opinions are, if we get like with this roster, I remember looking at it the other day. I forget exactly who's in there, but I know we should make it out. I'm even taking into account, maybe our first events we're not doing well, but I mean we're scrimming. We should be able to get used to that type of stuff.
Yeah. It will take a while. Like I'm not expecting us to be at our best at our first event, but that being said, the teams we're going up against ourselves, obviously. Luminosity, E United, Rise Nation, Unilad, Complexity, Mind Freak, Tainted Minds. So
now I think we should. Yeah, that's what I have. So yeah, those last 4, I think we could definitely beat. We should definitely place top 4. You know,
top 3. Okay, I'm gonna say at 100%. I think we should be top 3, or I'll be disappointed.
I agree. Because I know I haven't been able to watch any of the scrims, but I know we like almost completely swept Unilad and like a bunch of scrims we had the other day, or not Unilad, E United.
Yeah, we owed them.
It was
last night practice though, so
Yeah.
it's kind of understandable. But we did 100-point club them, and it wasn't really that close.
But then like the big match that everyone is probably waiting to see is Luminosity.
Yeah.
Because I am scared of Formal, because I've seen Formal when he gets angry, like even in like interviews when you see him like I was in Crossroads, it was an old vision when he was like yelling at the Halo team like, just get on, practice, like then you'll win, like stop being like a bitch about it, blah 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 blah. And you can see how angry he gets. Taking that into a game, dude, Formal has been so consistent throughout the years. I am scared of what he's going to do against us.
I just think Octane's better, and I think we have more slaying potential. I think Slacked and JCap have been lackluster, in my opinion. John and Octane were their strong slayers. I don't think we have a JCap anymore because we don't have Karma. I think every player on our team has the potential to put up
definitely
games.
Definitely.
So, to me, I think we should be second place, in my opinion.
Who's first?
That's where I want to be. I think I'd love to be first, but I think Rise Nation. I think Rise Nation right now, until I see more of OpTic, I think would be the better team. They've had more time together. They've not long, obviously, but they only made a one-man roster change versus a two-man roster change, and that's a significant difference, right? And so that's the same thing with Luminosity, only a one-man roster change versus two. So it really depends how quickly we can adapt. Do I think we have the potential to be first in the group? Definitely. We have the potential there. I mean, Slasher, Octane can go hand in hand with Slasher, definitely. And then, I mean, obviously, if we turn up, if all four of our players turn up, I think this is a really, really difficult roster to beat.
So, just to be clear, you think the top four are going to be OpTic, LG, EU, United, and Rise? I'm assuming, because you said top three, I'm assuming you think those are probably going to be the top four?
I think, what is the United roster right now? Yeah, I think that'll be the top four. Unless United don't play very well, I think that'll be the top. I think Complexity, maybe even Mindfree could like kind of shake things up, but outside of that, I think it's a relatively clear-cut top three, and a very clear-cut top three, and like a relatively clear-cut top four.
And which is good because I think our division is probably the harder one. I'm looking at the other one; they have good teams, but I just think the better teams than ours is a bit better. And I know I'm thinking way off in the future here. I say come like the finals. I think top four is a reasonable expectation. I know that we shouldn't be expecting the top four at the first event, but I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Yeah.
Wherever they place, unless I mean, as long as they make it to playoffs, I won't be disappointed. And as long as they play decently at playoffs, I won't be disappointed because you got to give them time. And I think it's unfair just to like expect them to win the first event straight away. But I think give it time. I do have high expectations for this team. We'll just have to wait and see them.
And then this roster, if anyone isn't aware, this roster is going to be the roster till champs. So pretty much the end of the season, to the end of this. So this is going to be the roster forever. And I want to know what the contracts look like for these new players, for especially Methods. I wonder how that's going to play out into after that. But champs is still there. We still have a decent way. As long as we place higher than 7th at champs, I'll be fine. Obviously, I want the W. I want back-to-back. I want third rings on Scump and Crim, obviously, and sadly
ring on Scump.
Or third
ring on Crim.
Yeah,
I want Octane to get his first ring. I've said this for ages. He's the outside of Scump and Former last year. I thought he was the player who deserved to have a ring the most. So I'd love it to be under the OpTic banner, you know. And I think he's an extremely talented player and deserves to eventually have a chance. So.
You know, you kind of actually look like Octane with that haircut. Yeah, you kind of look like Octane with that haircut. Is that why? No, but Octane has been like I remember him from when he first started, like when he was on the come up. He's always been at the top level, and I feel like the last like year and a half, 2 years, he's proven to be like a veteran and definitely able to win champs. He's definitely on that caliber. I mean, if Priesta can win a championship. I'm sure Octane can win champs. I never thought the day that the OpTic would lose to Priesta in a grand final in 2 best-of-5s.
Yeah. I mean, Priest is a talented player, very talented actually. And he didn't win a major. He won playoffs. So
yeah. But what is a major COD? Oh my! Since
well,
like
major, it's like an individual. The league is its own thing.
I guess.
So, yeah, I guess we could go through each matchup real quick. So, OpTic versus Luminosity. Do you think we'll get 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2?
I'm going to go safe and say 1-1. I mean, I definitely think we can win, but I think we'll at least go 1-1.
I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm gonna say 2-0.
Oh shit!
I'm hopeful for that. I think we're still in a 2AR meta, which fits our team nicely. So I'm going to say 2-0. I think we have a bit more slaying, and Octane is better at search and destroy than Formal was. And so I think that's a good addition.
All right.
So then
United
versus OpTic. I
2-0.
hope that 2-0, yeah. I don't think that's a given 2-0. EU is such a weird team because sometimes they do awful and you destroy them, or sometimes they just turn up for a game and you're just like, what? You're like, I thought this was gonna be an easy win. I'm going for a 2-0. I think if Ausities turns up and Clay turns up, then it could be pretty interesting, but I'm gonna go 2-0 as well.
Yeah, what about Rise?
Rise Nation versus OpTic. I'm gonna say, I don't want to be biased, so I'm gonna say 0-2. If I was a completely unbiased fan, I would probably say that Rise is better than a brand new OpTic, and so I would probably say 2-0 to Rise.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'm like, okay, let me be unbiased. And when you said the bias thing, I'm like, let me be unbiased. But now that I'm thinking about it, I can definitely see if
I can see it. I can definitely see 1-1 even
right now. I'd say we might go like 0-2.
Yeah.
But I don't know when they play. But come time when they play, I honestly don't think it would be crazy. I don't think it'd be crazy if we split or even win.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have Slasher coming in, which is a good replacement.
Fantastic, yeah. They just made a crazy losers bracket run.
And yeah, so there's that, but that was one of the most weird tournaments I've ever seen.
Yeah. Seattle,
like that was such a fluke event. I know people like there's such thing as fluke event, but like that was such an odd event that like that stuff is never going to happen again.
Yeah, like all the top teams were in the losers bracket straight away.
I mean, exactly. If all the top teams were in the upper bracket,
the final, that is never ever gonna...
Shots fired. But I mean, like if all the teams, if that was the only underdog, if they're the only team that like went to the lower bracket like early and made it back, I'd say yeah, they deserve it. But I mean, that's never gonna happen again. I think it depends on TJ. He's doing well. I think I don't know why. Pretty much just intuition. Because Slasher, I know some people have said that like how he tries taking control of the team, and I'm not sure if that's going to clash with anyone. And
you could see a lot of problems in that team, but who knows?
Yeah, but I'd say I'm going to go safe and say split it right now. I'd say Unilad. What do you say?
2-0.
Yeah,
easy. They lost their best player, Scraps. So yeah, easy 2-0.
Complexity, I say we're obviously not going to only lose like two games, so I'm going to say we actually split with Complexity.
I don't think so. I think we
should.
Wait, did we lose to Complexity? We lost them recently, right? In pool play or something?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Complexity did something last tournament. Yeah, I don't think it was against us though. They beat like LG or something, and I think that was impressive. But then they went on to like play awful, and I don't think with our new roster they could do it. If it was our old roster, I'd definitely be like, I think 1-1, because I think we out talent them, but we also are super inconsistent. But I think with the new roster, I don't see us losing. I don't see us losing to complexity.
Well,
I don't think that.
the only thing is that, like, how we're saying right now is that they're gonna lose like 3 series the entire time. I think there's gonna be one upset. You know what I mean? There has to be one in there, which is why I think if one team's gonna do it,
Series is not that uncommon for the top teams in playoffs.
I mean, but you're playing what 7 other teams, 14. I don't know. I
think the bottom of the table, I think we will 2-0 Tated Minds. I think we'll 2-0 Mind Freak, and I think we'll 2-0 Complexity, and I think we'll 2-0 Unilad. I'm willing to bet money on that. I think if we look at the Complexity roster right now, at least this is what I'm not sure if they made a change or not, but no, they didn't. I don't think so. But right now it's Dashi, Sensa, Ricky, and Blosfall. I don't think Blosfall's good enough in Respawn. I think Dashi is really talented. I think he's the one player that's super talented. Ricky really isn't that good in Respawn either. He's a talented
sensor.
And then Sensor. Now we're comparing it to Crimsix, one of the best players in the world, in my opinion, right now, because he can play subs extremely well. He can play ARs extremely well. He's pretty much can do it all. Then you've got Scump, who hopefully will turn up more. I think he's kind of the big X factor right now. You've got Methods, who's already an MVP and a championship winner in this game. And then you got Octane, exact same thing. Absolutely insane player. I don't think with the new roster they stand a chance. I really don't.
Oh, neither do I. It's just that, you know, you can't expect the best team. Like, if you have to take the best team in any traditional sport, they're not going to go undefeated and win a championship. I'm throwing a curveball in there. I think they should 2-0 them, but I think that's where one of the curveballs come in. I don't think.
I agree with you most of the time. Someone beats someone really weirdly, right? Especially in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm willing to bet that they'd go on an absolute rampage. Because what? Rise only lost one game, lost playoffs, and that was to OpTic. They went what? 13-1?
I guess.
So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but that's where I know. I'm just saying. I think they're going to lose more than what we're saying, and I don't think that the Australian teams are going to take maps off of them.
If anyone's going to take maps off them, it's LG, United, or.
All right then. Well, I mean that's pretty much it for our division.
Yeah.
It's all speculation. We'll probably go over this like towards the beginning of the actual, like after they first play, again, see how they're actually performing on a LAN setting, because again, online can be extremely different.
Definitely.
We just have to see how they play, because all the speculation right now is going to get hopes up or lower expectations, and it's just going to be a shit show in the comments. But till then, we'll have to wait. Do you have anything else that you want to add on the COD side of things?
Not really. Just to sum it up, I mean, we're in a 2AR meta right now, which is pretty much perfect for our team. I'm just kind of excited to see where it goes. I think having a fresh new team, fresh new faces will really benefit our team. And I'm just kind of really stoked. I think this is the perfect time to make a change. We've got enough time before champs so we can practice, get better, and get good enough to compete at the highest level and maybe, who knows, win champs. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. I don't know when is their first match. Because they're in Group B, so they play last.
1st of May against Luminosity.
All right, so that's going to be a hot match. Obviously playing against LG. We'll discuss that when that happens. Till then, we're gonna do a quick little transition over to another league.
I lied. 29th against Unilad. My bad.
I think their first 2 games are Unilad and LG though. I'm pretty sure LG's won the first games.
Something like that, yeah.
But we're gonna do a quick transition onto another league. Talk a little bit about the Outlaws, and then we're gonna get to League of Legends, where they finally released their roster after months of waiting. The Outlaws.
Well, they haven't really released it yet.
Air quotes. But the Outlaws, I'm not sure if I'm sorry. Lost my train of thought. The Outlaws just didn't qualify for the stage 3 finals. They're going into stage 4 in a little bit, and they were in a very good position in stage 1, but now they dropped the ball so hard that they have to fight to get into the playoffs
So weird.
for the finals. It's that the thing with
They're up and down.
Overwatch changes the meta so much, where in stage 1 they had like Junkrat was super buffed, Mercy was like great, was like very important. Mercy still is very important, but I mean even more so, and everyone had their top characters. But now they introduce different heroes, different metas, and it's going to be very, very difficult.
It's strange because they have weeks, even when the meta is not changing, within the season where you're like, oh, they're playing well, Lynx is popping off, the tank duo is going insane, and then they have weeks where you're just like,
oh, here's a statistic for you. Until they play the Dynasty, which I think was their last match, every match that they've lost this season or this stage has come down to the tiebreaker map.
wow.
They've gone game 5, which is their weakest game mode, which is the control, and that just sucks because if they had something, that's my biggest problem with one of my biggest problems with the Overwatch League. If they were able to fix their system, if they just were let things end in a tie in a series, which is kind of not possible because ties would be so common,
we would tie.
We would have one loss this season. We would almost been undefeated, but because then you throw one game mode in there, they have 2 game modes. You know what I mean? Like in Call of Duty, it's it's expected like that. You have 5 games, but you know they're 3 respawns, 2 S&Ds. But in Overwatch, it shouldn't be like that, and so that's one problem. And then with the metas, some of the metas like change how some heroes play. Like the Zarya
issue with with COD, the meta just changes too often.
Zarya, she hasn't been in the meta in forever, but I mean we have Spree, who's like the best Zarya. We can't even really use him. Mendo, he has some like personal issues going on. We can't use him. We have a couple other like DPSs, but one of the problems is like in the first stage, we only played like the main 6, and that was fine. Now we're just starting to change it up. I'm not sure if that's a problem or not, but we're not doing well. But like you were saying, sometimes we do so well, but then we just choke. We just choke game 5. We're in the stage, not playoffs. We're undefeated against the Spitfire. But even the Spitfire has started to drop the ball this season.
Spitfire's an absolute. I mean, they're still a monster of a team.
This season they've dropped the ball too, but again, probably due to the meta. It just sucks that they gave us such a hopeful season 1, but the thing is, it's still one of my favorite teams to watch ever since the CS team fell to shambles like a year ago. CS team, everyone was saying, "God, CS is such a fun team to watch." The Outlaws are probably like my most fun team to watch. Once the league starts up, I mean, league will be there again.
League is fire.
Did they announce the schedule yet?
Yes, they have. We play week 1. We play Golden Guardians, Cloud9. I think that's what we play. I'm not 100% sure yet.
But yeah, let's pretty much we just have to wait for the Outlaws on the next stage. They have to do really well because they had such a lead in not only series count but map count in stage 1. They blew that away in the next 2 season stages. So if they just do well and win the games that they should win and not take it to game 5, they'll do well. They just choke so much on on the last points of some maps. But
what?
Go ahead.
I think it's gonna be interesting, but we also have a new coach, right?
Kai, yeah. I think he's like assistant personal coach is his title or something like that.
And he was also a coach for the USA team during the World Cup.
Yes.
So I think that'd be interesting. He was with the Douse Fuel, correct? Or am I an idiot?
I'm not sure, but if so, then let's not bring that up because Dallas is trash. Worst team in Texas by far.
That is rough. But anyway, I don't know how much we can say really. They just need to turn it around. They have some fundamental issues. A big one is just showing up on the day, and then obviously just not having the right champion pool. I mean, not champion. I don't know what you
Hero pool.
hero pools in. They don't have the right hero pools for the season, for the meta, and they just need to work on that. So
I mean, I feel bad for Muma sometimes because he has been killing it the entire season, and then there's always like one person that just slacks a little bit. Not Slack the player, but yeah. So let's transition on the next League of Legends. So I thought they were officially announced. I remember on Reddit seeing the 10 players. Are they not official?
It's not official, but I will read you the statement by the ESPN staff writers. OpTic will add top laner Kieran Alorim Logue, jungler Gabriel Fnatic Saucier, or I don't know how to say his last name, AD carry Jacob Prismo Fainst. Okay, they have some weird names. Feinstein, and support Terry Big Chuan to its League of Legends team per sources ESPN. The organization will retain the top laner Dokla, Acadian, Power of Evil, and the Academy player mid lane of Palafox and AD carry Arrow, each of whom joined the organization shortly after it entered the League of Legends space. It is also reported that Austin Gate U is reportedly joining OpTic as well, completing the 10-man roster it will alternate between the North American League of Legends Championship Series and the Academy League, depending on the scrimmage performances. So we have a 10-man roster that will basically, however they're scrimming and however they feel more confident, they'll use the 5 people they think are doing well, put them in the for the week, they'll put them in the NALCS and then put the other 5 in the league. I mean, not the league, the Academy League. And then if they keep scrimming and they feel like someone else is doing better, they'll put them up and bring the other one back down to the Academy. So
that's how they're doing it.
And it makes sense, but I mean, teams can already do that, so it's pretty much the same idea.
So I thought the Academy team was in Dallas. They're not?
I believe the Academy team, I'm not sure 100% because it seemed like half the Academy team's players lived at their own like places, because like Dokla wasn't with the team. I'm not sure if he was in Dallas or not. I'm not 100% sure where they lived, but I know they don't live in
I remember seeing in one of Hex's vlogs where he goes in and he's like, oh, this is where the Academy team plays. I thought he was talking about League of Legends.
I agree. I think that's what happened because was it Winter or something like that? But anyway, I mean, if we just want to talk about the players real quick, Alarim was the first guy who was announced. He last split, he was with the Echo Fox Academy, and before that, he was with Phoenix One in the LCS for the summer split, right? For summer split, and he's the top laner. I think he will be addition. I don't know how much better he'll be than Zig, but I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then we also got Big, who is a support. So that was the next person announced, was Big. He was a support and he played for Team Dignitas, and before that, Delta Fox, Echo Fox, some other teams before that. He's been around for quite a long time actually, and I'm gonna be interested to see how he can perform as well. And then we got Fnatic, and he was actually part of the NA scouting grounds this year, I think. And he I don't know if he was picked up by a team, but he was part of the NA scouting grounds along with Prismal. And Prismal, from his stats, he's an ADC, and Prismal seems like he actually had really good statistics. He had the highest CS per minute. He had one of the highest KD ratios and one of the highest kill participations. And obviously, this was just in the scouting ground, so it's a much lower level of competition. But I mean, that does show that he has, I think, some decent, what do you call it, potential for the team. And then finally, Gate, obviously, I think a fair amount of people know Gate. He played for Echo Fox in Phoenix 1. He's another support. I believe that Gate is who will be on this original starting lineup. Or that's what they were saying, is who's been scrimming in oh no, I was wrong. Sorry, my bad. The League of Legends team has been in South Korea scrimming and
I heard that.
practicing, and rumors have it that it's the people who've been practicing are Dokla, Acadian, Power of Evil, Arrow, and Big. So that sounds like that's going to be the initial lineup, at least for maybe the beginning. Depends on how practice, of course, goes. But I mean, all the guys that we've picked up, none of them have an insane amount of experience, and none of them really are considered a top tier player at all in any way. So honestly, I think this split isn't looking too great.
Would you say better than last split though? I think we'll do better than last split.
Maybe by one place. It's not gonna be good. I would be very surprised. I think if we make 7th or 8th, that will be. I think between 7th and 10th is what I expect us to be. I don't expect us to be a playoff team. I'd be very, very, very.
Oh, neither do I. It's gonna be a long process. I'm not sure.
Thing. I think OpTic. They said they were trying to like slowly move into League of Legends. But here's a comment I found on Reddit. I think not going, so in quotes, I think not going all out from the start in terms of investing in a decent team have screwed over OpTic in the long run. Top level talent will not want to come play for OG LoL compared to 100 Thieves, Echo Fox. We're going to be a much lesser draw on the scene and most likely behind for a while because of this. And this is completely true.
Yeah.
Even if like it's going to take us a very, very long time to be able to like have top talent interested in joining our team. And then by that time, we will have spent who knows how much money on like trading out different players, trying to figure out who works for us. And like, think about a team like 100 Thieves who put loads of money into the game.
Placed second last split.
Coming into this.
No, I think they placed first last split, and then.
Right, they placed first in the regular.
The split, and then yeah.
And then came second
in the playoffs.
But then we look at like them. If they need to make a change or they have like an issue with one laner, they can easily find someone. Well, not easily, but it will be much easier for them compared to OpTic to find a top level talent to come join them. You know, because ultimately, unless they're getting paid a lot, players are going to go to the team that they can win on. And
yeah.
OpTic can't win right now, so it's going to be really difficult to get top level talent.
Unless we get lucky and get a bunch of these like players without a lot of experience, but then end up showing up and happen to be like god tier players that no one's heard about, and then we get like 3 of them.
The odds of that are very
exactly. You know, there's no Tom Brady scenario. You know, it's just gonna be a rough couple years probably until we get that much something amazing happens, and hopefully something that happens with the CS team, like when the CS team like okay, nothing's happening after a year, well 7 months, we're all leaving. Hopefully Power of Evil doesn't decide to get up and leave, because that lowers our pool even more.
Is easily our most valuable asset, but I could easily see him getting poached.
Oh yeah,
because he's good, he's talented. Fortunately, the one thing we do have in our favor is the mid laners in this region on top teams are pretty good. I mean, there's not a massive difference between mid laners on each team. And like you've got Febervin on Clutch Gaming, you got Pobelter on Team Liquid, you've got obviously like Bjergsen, and all of those top players, I mean, they're not just gonna drop any of them for Power of Evil, even if they're pretty close in skill. Like I could see Power of Evil being as good, if not better, than a large majority of mid laners, but the skill gap is so small that it's not really gonna happen. And like that's the thing, like something like top laners are way harder to get in NA. Like think about it, you got Huni, and then I mean Hansa didn't really turn up that much this season, but obviously Hansa, and then it just like is a rapid decline of players and their skill level. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, but I think we've really, really put ourselves at a disadvantage. We put a lot of money into the Overwatch League. We put a lot of money into things like Dota. And it just seems like right now it's going to be very difficult to play catch up for the rest of the season.
I don't think we can play catch up.
Well, not this season, but I mean for the rest of our...
For the future, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty much our summer split is over in a sense.
Before it began.
Yeah, exactly. We pretty much have to look past Worlds and look to next spring split and see if we can make some magic happen. Like, we pretty much have to come up with a plan of what we want with enough money and be like, hey, if you join us, we will also buy out this player, and then be like, this is the whole squad we'll have, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to like...
It's a lot of work and a lot of convincing and a lot of money.
And convince players that you can make it happen. And so that's going to be really difficult. And I just would love to see OpTic become a big brand in League, because League has some of the most committed and, well, not committed fans, but the most like consistent fans, I would say, in the sense of not that they'll consistently watch, but there's a lot of people who will watch, and there's a lot of people who will continue to watch.
And it'll also put a bad taste in their mouth of like, oh, OpTic's the team that's always placing last.
Exactly, yeah. And so like, look at TSM. TSM has a massive fan base just because of League, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
And I know they aren't the most loyal fans, and a lot of fans tend to be very player based instead of like organization based. But I think 100 Thieves is a great example that they've done a great job of making people love the organization before their players, and I think OpTic can do the same thing. I mean, that's what they've done for years and years, and it's just how you present yourself as an organization. 100 Thieves has been a very attractive organization to people, just to like, not just because of their players, but because obviously Nadeshot is a great personality, and just how they make their documentary series and stuff like that. They really just bring in fans and make fans more interested in them. So, yeah.
Do you think, I'm not sure how many other teams do this, but like a 10-man roster might hurt them? Like, constantly bring people back and forth?
I think it could, but I mean, at this point, what's it gonna hurt when you're probably
when you're one of the last places
anyway?
Yeah, true.
I would love to see them play better and make it into the playoffs, and I will 100% be supporting them through the whole season. I'm just finding it hard to see
unrealistic.
If we do, it's gonna be like we sneak in 6th place, you know. It's not gonna be like we're solid top 4 or anything like that. So yeah, that's how I kind of see it.
And do you know when the split starts for us?
I was just looking that up. I'm not 100% sure. It says June 16th, I believe, is day 1.
So I'll always do for that.
About a month before the beginning of it, because right now, if any of you watch League of Legends, we've got MSI going on. It's been a fantastic tournament so far. Team Liquid has been, which is the North American representative, has not done well. They're currently 0-4 in the league, but I've been getting up every morning at like 4 a.m. to watch the games, and they've been great so far. Really interesting, enjoyable games to watch. So if you guys are trying to get into League, or you're kind of interested in what's going on, and you want to start by watching something, MSI is great because it has international competition from around the world at the highest level, and it's really enjoyable to watch. So yeah, we've got that entertainment for the rest of this month, and then obviously summer split will start next month. And
then hopefully Recall will start, get some more insight on that. Didn't mean to say insight there. But and then hopefully our roster isn't even announced yet, but I mean, it probably will in the upcoming weeks.
Yep.
But I think anything else to add on League before we close out, or any other content?
No, I think it's going to be a rough year for League. I'll stay supporting, obviously, constantly. And I'm really just hoping we can grow the brand and grow the team to eventually maybe become a championship caliber team.
All right. Well, like I said at the beginning, guys, we have a lot more planned over the summer, a lot more content than just the podcast. So make sure you subscribe, hit the button down below, follow us on Twitter. All the links will be in the description. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Goodbye.